right, here we are. It's Dave versus Dave, episode 116. That's a phone right there.
How do you make this volume go down on this?
I don't know. Well, we're exactly where we need to be, obviously, because my dad's phone's going off, and he's typically him.
It's not my phone, it's my watch.
So, let's jump in. A couple things.
I could take advantage of you today because your back hurts, so I'm the stronger.
I don't know what the hell. I mean, I know
I'm the stronger of the two now.
Yeah, well, even with my back, even with my back annoying me, I could probably beat your ass.
No. Oh.
I'm sure of it. You're already a pain in my ass. That thing's cracked. That must have fell. Okay. All right, so I was thinking, we did the WCR event last Saturday.
It was
this past Saturday.
Ton of fun going out into the world again.
It was interesting.
And you're learning how to dance better as you age.
I wish my back didn't hurt. I mean,
it didn't hurt that night.
When you still dancing like this. But the little hens, they love it. He's such a good dancer. Because their husbands haven't danced since '96. All right. You think I'm going to have a filter today? I don't have even, I'm sweating here.
And so am I, I'm sweating.
Someone turn the air conditioning on. My God, it's like a hot box.
Well, first of all, you and I next to each other, there's enough
man.
You know.
So I was thinking, so many people come up to us. Some people we never met, and they're like, I love your podcast, your show. Which was kind of cool, because you never know people are watching. Ever.
And they are.
They are.
Because they obviously told us.
Well,
they said I was the better looking one. And I said, I know that.
I said, I got to carry his ass through this entire thing.
I said, I'm Ed McMahon, and you're Johnny Carson.
But I was thinking, like, we're kind of the people's champion.
Yes.
For all of you lonely agents out there with no one to tuck you in at night, just feel comfortable that every Wednesday, Dave and Dave will be here to tell you good night.
Good night, my friends.
So, I was actually thinking about this because there's a new player in town. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want a division fine. Although, my best friend attorney, the consigliere, Dave Sanders, says it's not defamation if it's true. That being said, lots of new companies that basically give you stocks and no love. So I was thinking, what better time for me to just talk to my fucking self while you look at your phone?
It's about my birthday.
We should have like a little ticker every time I curse and every time you don't pay
about my
attention.
birthday. You should put $1 in a bucket to some charity every time you curse. Tell them.
I'm gonna have to lay on like a bed of nails.
Do you
for
know?
This thing.
Tell them the story of the
Two
soap.
Advils never work. They just don't work.
Just let them pop in.
But they took them like 20 minutes ago.
Not yet.
Woo! But basically, I was thinking this is an interesting opportunity because there's so many companies out there now, and as we change and evolve in this industry, there's a lot of promises and very little actual in-person or just live support. And maybe we could fill that in for people. This is kind of what it's been. All right, you want to talk about the Ivory soap?
All my life I'd say to Dave, don't curse or I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. That's what I told him. So he was about 9 years old, you think?
9 or 10. And then
9 or 10.
You were like, I think I said shit.
Yeah.
And you were like, one more time. And then I was pretty good. And something dropped or I hit my toe or something and I went shit. And you said, that's it. This is happening. So what did I do?
He went and got the Ivory soap.
I ran.
And put it in his mouth himself. And he said, if I gotta eat soap.
No, you're telling the story terribly.
Well, go ahead. Well, then you tell.
You brought it up.
I'm sorry, I hit you.
I didn't even feel it. It was like a gnat on my So I run into the bathroom and I take the Ivory soap, which is the driest friggin' soap in the world. Man, we used to actually have bars of soap. Anyone even use bars of soap anymore? Of course you do.
So does Danny.
You do? The hell is wrong with you, Danny? Oh my God. Anyway, I take this thing and I put it in my mouth. And you go, get that out of your mouth. What are you doing? It's dirty. And I said, well, you said you were putting it in my mouth. And you go, why did you do it? And I said, if anyone's putting a bar of soap in my mouth, it's not going to be you. It's going to be me.
And the moral to the story is...
It doesn't work because I'm a cursor.
Still curses. So a cursor is a cursor is a cursor.
I really don't even hold Lola and Ella that accountable. I said, read the room, know your audience, and use it properly.
Got it.
And some of the words they're not allowed to use yet. But like, if Lola will talk to my mother-in-law and say like something like, you're breaking my balls, Nana. That I don't mind, right? Because she used it well.
And she doesn't have any.
Yes. All right. Let's talk. Let's tell a story of my good friends who are trying to buy a house in Park City. It's an interesting story.
It's a great story. But could I ask you something? What is on your arm? That rope thing? What's that? Tell me
It's
about
a bracelet.
I never saw it before. Is it new and in
I
style?
just took it out today. I've had it forever.
Oh, I sort of like it.
Oh, congrats. Can you give me that compliment after the class, please?
No.
All right. So I have this thing called JAR. And it's just another realtor. And I'm always saying, don't market like just another realtor. Don't act like just another realtor. Don't do business like just another realtor, because they just came out. There's like 1.5 million realtors out there, which reminds me, there's a third thing we're talking about that I forgot to mention to Danny because she asked me for stuff. Anyway, just another realtor. Remind me that we're going to go over how much money people make in real estate.
Okay.
I have that thing, and I didn't give it for them to pop it up on screen, but we have it. Anything you're doing like just another realtor, I believe at this point, is making you below average.
Agreed.
Right? And it makes you ubiquitous, basically like everybody else. And I know there's code of ethics, and supposedly it's supposed to be like, that's who we are, and we're a realtor. But I have walked on from that game a long time ago. He's going to hate me for saying it. And you NAR folks out there, sorry, not sorry. I love a lot of you, but I don't give a shit. Basically, here's the thing. Anyone could be a realtor. So code of ethics and all that, anyone can take the 90 hours of classes, and anyone can get that R next to the name if they pay the money and they're a member. So I think you have to have a level above being a realtor. So when you're just another realtor, you're just like the portrayal of a cheesy realtor. That's where I'm at.
Well, and
This
when
is
he
where you could
says
be
just
company
another
man.
realtor, meaning do more, be more, have your level of ethics and professionalism to the moon, and then you're not just another realtor.
I'm creating another level.
In that
I'm
transaction,
creating another level.
Okay. In that transaction, the realtor sent over a contract.
Whoa, you gotta set the table, my friend. You're jumping right in.
You set the table.
I set the table about being just another realtor. I didn't set the story up.
Well, go ahead.
My back's killing me. I gotta carry you again, even with a bad back? All right, here's the story.
Go ahead.
Friends of ours going up to Utah. They live in California. And we thought they were just going to look at a second home, right?
Browsing, not
Browsing, not buying. Or if we knew, we would have sent them with a little shout out to Brian Perks. Excellent. If you ever need a Utah realtor, he's your guy.
Well, a Park City area, not Utah, because Utah's a big state.
Yeah, I mean, other than Cedar City, you pretty much, there's nothing really in
Is there
between.
nothing else?
I mean, it's not a lot. There's stuff, but nothing worth talking about. It's kind of like Nevada. There's not a lot between Vegas and Reno, right?
But how far is Park City from Salt Lake?
Like closer than Long Island and Manhattan.
So people at
They could do
Salt
both,
Lake
no
do
problem.
Okay.
I don't think they do, but
Just
they can.
clarifying if you're moving to Utah.
I thought it would be longer. It's not. It's like one little highway and you're there.
Got you.
Right? Everything's, and they got great roads in Utah. They got great infrastructure, so you get places quickly. All right. Anyway, they go up there and they're looking at a new home site. They end up with some realtor. And you've heard this story before. They find a house they fall in love with, like literally fall in love with. That they would consider them actually spending more time there than where they're from, like going all in. And what happens with this house, like every other house on the market? What's the story?
5 offers. Open house today, unfortunately for them.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Right? So they want to make an offer. Now, by the time I figure this out, I want to bring in my buddy Brian, but they're already stuck with, now mind you, stuck. This is what happens in a lot of situations for people with kind of like going on to a lot to buy a car. You see the guy coming and you're like, oh shit,
Why did I get this
I'm going to be
right?
stuck with this guy. I'm going to have to buy a car with this guy, right? Mm-hmm. This happens in real estate, and it doesn't have to be like this. You can vet people all the time. Don't think that you're stuck with a realtor. But they set up the showing. Of course, they love the house, so they're stuck with this realtor.
They set up the showing. She showed them the house. She wrote it terms of an offer. As she's writing the offer, they see how bad she is. But by that time, we explain procuring cause.
You're in.
And they're in. They're locked to this realtor.
So, here's another thing, guys. If you're going to do buyer brokerage agreements, fine, do them. But do them in the beginning, not after the fact. So not only is she writing the offer, she's trying to lock them in
a buyer's broker agreement.
so that if this doesn't work out, they have them forever. And all she did was show one house, you know? And I don't think our friends would even begrudge her if she was on it, right? Like on it. But she writes in an escalation clause, which is, well, it's not illegal here.
It's frowned upon here and allowed there. That's the easy way to say it.
Basically, I'm not going to go over the exact numbers, but let's say it's $1 million house, and they'll say, I'll go 5,000 over up to 1.1. You're really making a 1.1 offer. The other agent would have to produce the 1,095,000 offer in order to prove that 1.1, or they'd have to produce the 1,050,000 in order to approve the 1,055,000. So it's basically a 5,000 over your best offer, right? Which I personally say just offer the freaking 1.1, but that's just me, right? Anyway, she gets that in there, and off we go. Now, the DocuSign comes over, and we're helping them because they're our friends, and this buyer brokerage agreement still says if you buy this house or anything else, you're going to owe me, what you put in, 3%?
Yeah.
3%. Now, in this particular co-op, for those of you who don't understand, this is one of the most interesting things. This is how it works in real estate. And our friends, you'd think they've been around us for years, they would understand how co-ops work, and most people don't. This is how it, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, I don't want to say all the time and get in trouble by the freaking RESPA police. I'm sure someone's got a hair up their butt, maybe doesn't like you or me watching this.
No, they may not like you. They love me.
Probably.
Okay.
Because you only show them the nice Dave.
Until there's maybe a time.
One day I'm going to mic you, hot mic you.
Uh-oh.
When we're on the phone.
Uh-oh.
And then you'll see you're just as bad as me. Okay, so where was I?
They sent the contract.
Oh, so co-ops.
Yeah, they sent the buyer's broker.
So this is how it works in real estate. The seller pays the listing agent 5, 6, 7% total, whatever the number is. It could be anything. Let's just for this case say 6%. The listing agent will take a portion of that. Let's say in this case, half, 3%. And then they offer out to the buyer's agent representing the buyer 3% in order for them to get paid on that. The buyer is technically not paying out of their pocket, but because the seller is paying 6% to the listing agent, and then the 3% goes to the buyer's agent, they are paying part of the cost because the cost is more, right? Mm-hmm. That's how it works. So in this case, the buyer brokerage agreement wouldn't have affected our friends because the seller was listing agent offered in 3. It would have been fine. But what would have happened if this house doesn't work out?
Right. And the way she sent it over the first time was if they bought a house in 90 days in this whole county that they're looking, they would owe her 3%.
3% no matter what, plus they're stuck with it.
Right.
Right.
And she sent that over with an offer.
At the same time, the offer was being delayed because she's a makeup artist as well on the side or something like that?
She was at her cousin's wedding and she was doing the bride's makeup,
Gotcha.
which already, for realtors out there, too much information. should not be said.
Not professional.
Everything is done on the phone or a laptop. You could be at a wedding, a funeral, a Christmas. I don't care where you are. The seller, the buyer need not know. You just need to get the deal done.
So after 3 DocuSigns,
Of the right mistakes.
wrong names, wrong this, wrong that,
Didn't put in the terms of the loan.
right?
She put purchase price $20,000.
So interesting being on, like, even though we aren't the buyers, being on that side of it. After 3 DocuSigns and we're finally out, and I'm at Topgolf, probably because why my back is killing me.
Probably.
At like 8 o'clock, they say to me, oh, it's finally submitted. I said, didn't we start this process at like 2 p.m., 1 p.m.?
1 o'clock at the house.
And this is a house where time is of the essence.
7 hours, and she said basically that all offers had to be in that night because they're doing the open house today and they're finished.
And there's another thing. She had to have the broker look over the contract, which is a red flag.
Right.
Because that means either she doesn't know what she's doing or it's maybe she's brand new, right? Listen, no bueno, right? So our friends...
Maybe the broker should have looked over the contract
before
she sent it wrong 3
So
times.
now I'm like, I don't know the heart. I'm like, listen, in this case, you cannot sit on this. You're gonna have to call her and get updates and say, I need you to call the listing agent. You're gonna have to direct the agent because I don't feel like this agent is gonna be aggressive enough to make sure our friends get this house, right? Because she's gonna be nonchalant, like she's been on the whole offer situation.
The odds are against them to get the house. The only thing will save them is their final price to be the highest. But other than
But they need a realtor who's a squeaky wheel,
that's
getting on the phone and being a consultant and an advocate,
and
right?
intelligent.
So here's where they go. These are conversations, realtors, that people are having about you. So pay attention. Then our friends start going, this woman's gonna make like $40,000 for writing up one offer and showing us one house and she can't even get a DocuSign right. That's the true story.
That's the conversation's buyer. And then they said, we found the house through the internet, we picked it. And it's interesting because I said I defended realtors in that getting the house accepted is step 1 of many, many steps. But if you screw up step 1, you don't want that realtor.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the thing I talk about all the time. Because I wanted to just literally take over and start calling everybody. And almost to the point where if they couldn't get the DocuSign right, you could say, this agent has not have my fiduciary, call the listing agent and basically do it yourself, right? Because if they lose this house and they didn't get their best foot forward because of the realtor went from someone who's supposed to be an advocate and a consultant to someone who's actually prohibitive, an inhibitor of getting the home. And that's why don't be just another realtor. Because
I gave them, because you weren't there yet, I gave them 15 points that were wrong on the contract, and they had to call her to correct all these 15 things. And I don't even know, it's the first time I ever saw a Utah contract.
And here we are. That realtor in Utah is representing me and you, all of Urban Nest Realty, all of every single brokerage in Las Vegas, in Nevada, in Utah, in California, in the United States, because we're all realtors. We're all the National Association of Realtors. So when we're portrayed on memes and videos and TV shows and movies as these obnoxious, pain in the ass, money-hungry, commission breath people, it's because the 80-20 rule, hopefully not that much, is in place where 80% can't close a door, let alone a deal. And that's why I want to distance myself and this company and all of you great realtors who aren't with us from the other ones. Because they're not putting in the work and they're not getting the right training and they're not doing what is required to represent all of us. And that drives me a little bit insane because you can't save everybody. You can only lead and take care of your own house first.
And the next point I'm going to make, which may be controversial for me to
Oh,
make.
wow. Here we go.
This company was with the top franchise, luxury top franchise. Listen to me. You could be with a one-man band. If that realtor is a professional, it's fine. It doesn't mean that because they're with so-and-so, they have top training. Well, that's a franchise. It's known throughout. Not true. It's how the brokerage chain trains and how they make their agents accountable.
Yeah, just because you work at Mercedes doesn't mean
You're getting a Mercedes experience.
You got
You
it.
got it.
And that's something for the people out there who don't see values in real. I remember a good friend of mine, intelligent man, businessman, author, super successful, and he didn't even think he needed me. Remember? And he brought me in on a deal to try to kind of work himself some advantage.
And what did he say after it?
He said, Dave, I believe Zillow's information is better than 80% of the realtors, but you are better than all of that. And that is the difference. Are you consultant of real estate service? He was buying a new home.
Which was easy.
No, it was not.
Well, compared to...
It was not. He was buying a new home and wanted to do all these interesting things.
Oh, yeah. Before.
So it was
before
basically
closing.
like, Dave, I found a new home on my own. Let me bring you in. Hook me up when I sell my own. His own house was very difficult to sell.
Very challenging.
The new home, which was supposed to be a slam dunk, he made a ton of custom changes. The builder was being difficult. I had to pull a ton of favors and negotiate for him, and I earned all the money and more and learned a lesson that I should never take care of
But
people
you
like that
just
again.
brought about a great point. A lot of people say, when I buy a new home, I don't need a realtor. It's wham, bam, thank you, it's over. That is so untrue. Appraisal problems, building problems.
Well, you know, they tried saying at one point, and it says it in the contract. They said they reserve the right to move around the plan.
Yeah,
they
they
use
do.
different
Yeah, they do.
materials.
They did it at Red Rock.
Right? And
They did it.
when things got a little hairy, I stepped in and said, okay, you can move it around, but you got to make it as good.
Right.
Right? And they have 4 girls, and they wanted,
Oh, that's what you're going to have.
I'm already a broken fucking back over here. I mean,
That'll go away in a few days.
so we had to make a lot of changes. So listen, but that's kind of the thing is, when I say there's only 2 realtors in the future, you're a commodity realtor, a door opener, you know, put a lockbox on and hope for the best, and that's okay. And then, you know what, if you get less than the going average, then that's what you're worth. That's okay. There's a place for those realtors, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. There's a clientele for them, and then there's a realtor for them. They fit beautifully. It's low value facilitator. You could be that. Not at Urban Nest you can't, but you could be a facilitator. You want to have a billboard and do you? Go for it. Or you could be a high trusted advisor, a true consultant of real estate services. I was talking to my buddy Mike about this because he was annoyed, the guy buying the house, and he was like, man, I would just want to pay a consultant fee and get this done. And I think that's how we have to look at real estate. You listen, the buyer, you can find the house online, you can go search the neighborhood on your own. Where does the expert status comes in? It's not even a 2% or a 3% or a 4%. You could even say, you know what? If you went online and said, I want to find a course on how to buy a house, and I have to pay a $10,000 or a $20,000 fee on how to negotiate and understand, you'd want to go to an expert to teach you how to become an expert realtor. So this is nothing more than a consulting fee to get you the negotiation in the house, protect you on the paperwork, and take care of all of that service and marketing, all of those things a consultant would do to guide you through the process.
Agreed.
So look at it as a consulting fee. We're consultants of real estate services. We're not a jar. We're not just another realtor.
I like it.
Consultant of real estate services.
Well, I never had that word when I was selling, but I definitely was never a jaw. Because I took them from beginning to end and...
Your customer service has always been top notch.
Yeah, fantastic.
Top notch,
Treated
no
them
doubt.
all perfectly.
Totally. There's nothing, I mean, you're on point, right? Without a doubt. So keep that in mind also when you're marketing. If one more person does a picture like this, I know you did yours, market not like a realtor.
We did one like this. It wasn't like a realtor.
No. Man.
Nothing you could do.
God, I've been doing this a whole week, and today it decides to be a pain in my ass. Okay.
It's actually a pain in your back.
True. How many minutes in are we? You're going to the general membership meeting today,
I am
right?
going to the general membership to represent urban.
We actually look good on screen. That is kind of washed out, but this looks good. All right, beautiful. All right, let's jump into the market, shall we? We put the other thing to bed. It's interesting to see the perspective through not the bubble of the real estate world, like when someone you know is buying in another state. Listen, this is who my dad and I are. Did we say to the other realtor we want a 25% referral? No. We said, do whatever you got to do to get our friends in the house. And even if they ended up going with our buddy Brian, I already said to him, take whatever you'd give to us and help him out.
Well, it's because it's a personal friend.
Personal
but that
friend.
isn't the point.
It's like
the
family.
point is, if
Family
you're going to
friend.
have your commission, do your job. Simple enough. And know your job. And
Because
fortunately
you shouldn't
for
be
us,
entitled for the
fortunately for us, I ask the other realtors that get offers from our company,
Yeah.
and they say they're written beautifully. And then my beam, because I say we did a good job. Or Georgia and Jennifer did a good job training them.
I was interviewing an agent who's thinking about coming over here, and big team, and she was saying that she's had only amazing experiences with our agents, but she did say she had one bad one. You remind me to tell you.
Do you remember Michael Jackson? One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl.
Yeah, one that's on thin ice. All right. So we tell you about the bad one because the bad one proves that the good ones are good, right? Like never trust a Yelp review on a restaurant that are all, was it 4 or 5 stars on Yelp? Is it 4? Is it 4 or 5?
I don't know, but the only thing I will say is never trust a skinny person's food review. I want someone.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want to see.
Me.
You're saying never trust a skinny chef.
No, never trust a skinny review.
See, I don't trust a skinny chef.
Well, there's
I want a heavy chef.
But a lot of chefs that
I want him to love his food or her food so much.
But they may work so hard they're skinny. But
like Giada, she's hiding something. Is she just chewing it?
did you
and
ever go to
spitting it out?
Giada's?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
The food servings are this big.
True.
This big. I had chicken cacciatore. They sent out a chicken this big.
I mean, are we really there for the food, or are we just thinking of Sophia Loren? All right. So, what are we talking about?
How handsome I am.
Yeah.
We were talking
about the real estate
general membership.
Yeah.
We moved on.
Good luck at that thing. Although you at least get Terry.
Yeah, Terry is very funny. Then we were talking, what was your second subject?
Is market stats. But I also have something about what realtors make. I'm going to blow all the public's mind on how little people make. But continue.
Do you want to talk about the market?
We could throw market stats first. Let me set the table for you. This is what I wrote. See, I leave you with context. I don't leave you hanging.
I like the way you say set the table. I don't think you set the table a day in your life, but I like the saying.
Listen, I can set the table with my words.
Yeah,
I can
not
set
physically.
the whole moment.
Yeah.
It'll feel like all the plates and the food are on the table when I'm done speaking, baby. I'm a linguist. All right, market stats. I put inventory is rising. Landlords may be able to get out of leases soon. Maybe. Some homes actually are seeing gasp price reductions. Remember what that is? Let's get after it.
What is it called?
I hate price improvements. Oh my God, it's so fluffy. A price improvement. You're saying that the price was wrong the other time. So where are you at? What do you think? We talked about this yesterday. Price improvement.
Okay, so I do the stats every week. It's single family homes within the actual city. It's not Boulder, it's not Pahrump.
Oh, it feels a little bit better.
And see, I told you the pill would work.
No, maybe not. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna lube it up. I'm gonna give it a little loop. Oh.
All right, give some water. So basically, in the last 3 weeks, we've gone up about 400 homes. And I'm not saying that's ooh, hallelujah, but in all the 8 weeks before, we went down. This week in sales, we only went up 8 homes, which is saying that the sales is leveling. So if the supply is going up a little and the sales are leveling, it means you may be able to buy a house instead of fighting for a house. So that's my fast summation of the market.
All I'm going to say, because we beat this like a dead horse yesterday, I do think there may be an opportunity for buyers who've been like really getting beat out and who have been frustrated and disenfranchised
Don't quit now.
possibly have a little window of opportunity coming, right? It really doesn't matter what the market's doing. It's always a good time to buy if your situation is protected and right. You really can't lose if you don't make super dumb moves. Real estate is asymmetrical as far as risk. There's very little downside and a ton of upside if you do it intelligently. So I know the frustration for realtors out there showing 1 million houses, not getting their offers accepted, no one being happy. Not a fun market for a lot of people, even sellers. I mean, it's intense, right? So stay the course.
Right.
This won't last forever. It's unsustainable to go vertical the entire way. There's going to be affordability issues, and people eventually are going to have to say enough is enough, and the market will correct itself to a degree.
And the interest rates are unbelievably low still, and actually went down a little bit to 3 again. So hallelujah, 3%.
So I did a Channel 8 thing we found yesterday, where I wasn't even president, but I still had a little contract with them. And we were talking about the market, and the average price was just about 300. I was saying that market rates they hit the fives for a second. We had a little slowdown in the market, and then it went right back down to the low 4s and high 3s. That was in 2019. And I said, we're sitting at about 4,000 homes on the market. We still are on a limited supply. Demand is high. That was 2 years ago.
So I found one
Yep.
of one of mine, and I was talking about a median price of 180.
Oh my God.
And how buyers in 2013, when I was president, buyers are having such a hard time buying because all the investors
Yep.
came from all over the country and bought the houses. And I told them, hang in there.
Did you look young?
You make me feel
I
so
felt
young.
so young when I looked there. I
How
didn't
could
have
I not look young?
no gray in
I
my
haven't
beard.
changed in 20 years.
Everybody says that to you. They're just bullshitting you.
They don't say that to you.
No. All right, here are the numbers. So shame on me because the 2 women looking at me said that probably if I would have given this to them, they would have been able to embed it. But here's where we're at. It has all realtors' gross income before taxes and expenses. Now this is gross. This takes, and then it breaks it down into 2 years, 3 to 5 years, 6 to 15 years. Oh, you always see those posts online when they say, I've been in this business 20 years, and people make fun of that. Well, guess what? If you've been in the business 20 years, you're making more money. So it's a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, well, let's go over this. So 24% of all realtors make less than $10,000 a year.
Don't come to our company.
24%.
Try somewhere new. We want to.
13% of all realtors make between 10 and 24. So now we're up to 37% make less than 25 grand. Another 8 under 35, another 9. So now we're out, see, $49,999. We got 54% make less than 50 grand. More than half. So I know we make it look easy, but it's not easy. All right, and then we jump up a little bit. Okay, 12% of realtors make between 50 and 75.
Good.
Not a bad living, baby.
Yeah.
9% make between 75 and 100. 10% make between 100 and 150. Beautiful.
Great.
6% make between 150 to 199. 3% 200 to 249, and actually 7% make 250 or more.
Wow.
So here's the thing. Huge gap.
Huge.
Huge, right? So now it gets into, they break it into how many years you've been a realtor. And this is where it gets intense. If you've been a realtor 2 years or less, almost 60% make less than $10,000, right? And then another, so 75.
But I could forgive that.
75% of realtors make less than $25,000 if they're in the business 2 years or less.
Yeah, because they're new. So I
Exactly. So then when you jump to 3 to 5 years, it's still, you're talking 35, 45, 57, 57%, 71% make less than 75.
Well, and a good lesson to this is when your career somewhere else slumps and you say, I want to be a realtor, rethink it because there's a lot of costs to
Yep.
making no money.
And here's the thing. If you can survive the first 3 to 5 years, your chances, it shows right here, of making money go up. And what people really don't take into account is that they're entrepreneurs and business owners. And if you open any business, these are the stats around these businesses. Most businesses, 9 out of 10 are gone within 5 years. So let's say only 10% make it in the first 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're down to that 10%. Of that 10%, right? Only 9 out of 10 make it the next 5 years. So now you're down to like less than 1% make it in 10 years, right? And that's just still alive. Are they profitable? Because you could be in business but not profitable. So Pops, not to jinx it, but you may be second time around, third time if you count just being a realtor on your own. The Landmark Cafe, 10 years. Being a realtor, forget it, 4 decades. And here you are. I carried you on this last one. You know, they give Bill Belichick...
The last year, you mean?
No, they give Bill Belichick 3. They say he's responsible about 3 of the rings, the Super Bowl rings. Mm-hmm. They give Brady the other 4. I'm responsible for at least 4 out of the 7 rings.
And what about the guy that just won the golf?
Phil.
Phil.
Yeah.
And isn't Jack his father?
No, that's Nicholas.
Nicholas? The drugs are kicking in.
There's Nicholson.
And Nicholas.
And Nicholas.
Oh.
No, Jack is not his father.
Oh, I
You
thought it
threw
was
me
his
off so much. It's Phil Nicholson and Jack Nicholas. God, and Jack Nicholson is the actor.
And you merged them.
No, I didn't merge him. You're the one who said it was the father.
But you said Nicholas.
So 16 years or more, 12% of all realtors have been in the business 16 years or more, making $250 or more, right? So if you're in the business 12 years or 16 years or more, 13, 25, 34, almost 40% of realtors in the business 16 years or more are making over 100 grand.
And it's saying longevity and intelligence and creating a sphere of influence makes success in a realtor.
So I saw a post recently, I think it was my buddy Jeff, and he's right. You know, you have the agents who are like, they try to pontificate or try to bully and say, you know how many years I've been in this business.
Yeah,
we're not talking about those idiots, right? We're talking about, though, if you do see a realtor in the game for a long time, they've survived. So there's a little bit of a hat nod to them because they have made it through a bunch of decades and managed
up and down markets.
You got it, and managed to hustle their ass off, right?
It's like me in '82 writing 8%.
82.
18%. Sorry.
82.
82.
I think all of us in here had been born, but none of us were 5 yet. But continue.
Well, in '77, the interest rates were 8.5. I was writing.
Yeah.
But that's when I started. But in '82, we had 18%, and a lot of realtors just quit. They said 18% interest. I quit.
That's the thing about being an entrepreneur, about being a realtor. A lot of people burn out because it is not for the faint of heart.
Well, how I explained it when I was writing all those offers, I said, look at this opportunity. It's 18%. It'll never stay. The houses went, because no one would buy. So I sold like 15 houses to my firefighter friends for investments.
Yep.
They refied 2 years later. It's like 7%.
Yep.
And those houses went from $35,000 to their retirement of $500,000.
No, and that's the game, right? You have managed to stay in the game, but you have to have a mindset of opportunity. You have to look at it. I say all the time, it's an aggressive comment, that being an entrepreneur is literally having a gun to your head 24/7, because you have to eat what you kill.
What would
but
you
some
say is
people
the
don't like that.
opportunity right now? What we're talking about in price, and what is the greatest opportunity of this market?
Interest rates.
You got it.
100%.
So we're talking, and you're watching 3%.
Never see it again.
5 years from now, they may be 8%, and you're going to go, damn, they were
Never see it again.
They were 3%. Why didn't I buy when that 3%? That is the greatest opportunity of my 44 years. 3%.
Well, then you got to take into account this. You got to play the get out a mortgage calculator. There's a thing called Google. You can Google a mortgage calculator, right? Only focus on the principal and interest, and play the game of, okay, I want to buy a $750,000 house with 20% down, or however much money you got at a 3% rate, and then go look at it at a $500,000 house at a 6% rate. What you're going to find if you keep playing these numbers, trying to anticipate what the price will drop and how high the interest rate will go, you're most of the time going to end up kind of in the same spot. Now, don't get me wrong, if it drops 20, 30%, I'll take the higher interest rate and refi out when I have to. There's opportunity in that as well because you're getting things on sale even though you have a higher amount of money per month. There's opportunity in both. Back to the original point we made. If you're betting on yourself making money and you have enough passive income and income that you get from your day job, just keep buying. Buy on the way up, buy when it plateaus, and buy on the way down. Just don't put yourself in a bad spot. Make sure you have the 12 months reserves. Make sure you can still have good interest. Make sure you got the insurances in place. Make sure you got the investments in place. Like, pay those things first, then go all in. Got to have some good defense, like we talk about, before you have the offense.
Yep.
Right? But a great offense can also make your defense better.
Agreed.
Right? So what did you think of those numbers? Kind of interesting, right?
Crazy. But makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So they got to sing I Will Survive, and then if they do, a lot of people right now, and no offense to anyone out there, they lost their job during...
No offense?
No, I don't want to be
No
offensive.
offense? No offense? No offense? We've only been on 30 minutes?
No.
Yeah, we're going to cut this close. All right, go.
Don't become a realtor because your
Don't
job...
become a realtor.
Because your job in COVID was gone. And there's a lot of people getting into it as like a sideline.
I somewhat agree and somewhat disagree.
Go ahead.
If you've been jonesing to be a realtor and control your own...
Totally different.
Or you wanted to control your own game, and you needed COVID to let you... to not even remind you, to set you free.
Set you free.
Then go all in.
Right. But if you took it because your job went away and, maybe I'll try real estate, probably not the bestest idea.
Yeah, I mean, I hate the fact that it's a last-ditch effort for a lot of people. It sucks that...
How many parents say, well, he didn't do well on this.
He's going to be a realtor.
Let's make him a realtor.
But some of the best realtors have also found their way by doing that. It's an easy entry to try to become an entrepreneur, but you're not going to get paid.
But you have to.
You're not going to get paid.
You have to have the passion.
Yeah.
You have to love the true realtors in a room. Start talking about, did you see the house? Did you see the market? Did you see that passion? If it isn't there, and you develop the passion for it. You developed.
I always wanted to be in business.
Right, but you developed the strong house passion. If you don't,
I think I reframed it. I reframed it because this is a tough business. I reframed it of how many people can I impact their lives and help them.
Well,
that was a reframe.
That's a little of your coaching.
And then that's a lot of it. And then the reframe was I can truly be part of someone's best experience in their, or one of the things that mean the most to them in their life. Great, but you could easily get caught up in the shit of this business. It's not easy.
Not easy.
But you were making a good point. I have to remember what I wanted to say.
You're forgetting a lot.
I have a nail in my back, in my spine right now. I think, you know what I think it was? The caffeine. I read somewhere too much caffeine gives you back pain. And when I started drinking my coffee, it got worse and worse and worse. Back to the real estate game. Listen.
Too much caffeine.
Here's the thing.
I never heard that.
Here's where the complicit is. Complicit why you have the opportunity to be a great entrepreneur and a great realtor. But you have to align yourself with leadership. This is not me saying you got to align yourself with us. but I don't care what the name is on the building or the name on the top of the contract. The company does not matter. It's the leaders of the company. There are some great leaders of a company that franchise out, and then the operator of that franchise is terrible, and then that company's terrible. What you need to focus on is find the people that will lead you, train you, and protect you. Forget about all the other bullshit. I don't care about stock options. I don't care about downline. I don't care about splits. That's coming from a 100% company. Find someone who is crushing it, who is ethical, who isn't afraid to tell you the truth, and who isn't going to overpromise and underdeliver. Find someone who you could be like, I want to be like them. Then you win. I think about it that it was never the companies you were at, it was the people. Always. You know, I have friends that own a franchise, and then they have franchisees. And I said, tell me this. This is my illusion. This is my guess, right? How do you know if your franchisee is going to be good? Is it location? Is it...
Great question.
Right?
What did they say?
I said, let me guess who the operator is. They said every single time.
Yeah.
So when you're a franchisor, you could literally hand over the product, the marketing, the systems, the processes, and even the location. But if the operator is no good, you don't succeed.
Well, let's take the restaurant. You spoke about us owning the restaurant for 10 years. We took the restaurant, we built it, we opened it, and uber successful, beyond our imagination.
Uber successful.
10 years. What happened after I sold
It
it?
was done the minute because he couldn't operate.
6 months.
Yeah.
BK.
Because he was a sucker that had a lot of money.
Operator.
And couldn't figure out how to operate the business. But he never invested in the relationships. He changed things. He wasn't involved. He handed off his whole business. Right?
Where we were involved.
You have to be.
Where I forced Dave to have
It's not
all
even
his
about,
part.
you could be involved, that you could be a true owner, but you better find an operator who knows what the hell they're doing. Right? So, back to the original conversation. Can't be just another realtor, or you're not going to succeed. You're not going to be the one that lasts 16 years. You're not going to be the one making $100,000 a year.
Or call them operators. You just did the operator analogy with
Facilitators.
the facilitator. The
Operator you need. You need a good operator.
And they're the facilitators, and if they're not good at facilitating the business, they're not going to succeed. And the passion you have for your business goes 100% with the level.
And then there's a lot of great natural realtors that have not hit their potential because they have succeeded in spite of where the place they are.
That was me.
Right? And then they don't realize that they've outgrown their situation in their company.
You think of the support that I was given in all the companies I was in?
Geppy was good. He was a true businessman.
Yeah, but he didn't train.
Yeah, but he put...
Yeah, he was
Put
good.
some good.
Yeah, but he didn't train. We train.
Joe Sherry was dynamic, but you kind of did your own thing.
Didn't train.
You know, yeah, you've kind of figured it out on your own. Yeah. So.
And here we train. That's the good thing about being here.
Yeah, but even then, you got to plug in.
Yeah.
You got to plug in. Like, we can't come to your house and knock on your door and pull you out of your couch and say, go. Like, we can only open the door so much. We will lead. We will not save.
Right.
Say it.
I've learned.
Say it.
We
Leader.
will lead. We will not.
Leaders, not saviors.
Save. And I used to save.
We can't do the work for you.
I still do a little.
I know, my God. You're the worst. All right, final parting shot, my friend.
I can only say this because this week is a week that I've been going out to events again. I am so happy that life is back, and it felt so good to sit next to you at a dinner in an event and then dance and laugh with the family and the team and all.
Congrats to Christina Chipman and Marina Gizzini. We have 2 top 25.
Right.
I mean, we have more than that, but those are the 2 recognized by WCR.
The Women's Council of Realtors, and your wife for being a
Hall of Fame, baby.
Angela Tina. But it was just so good. I felt really good to be out at a dinner with you because I love you and sitting there and laughing with you, then dancing, and of course you're making fun of me. It all is part of getting back to normal.
Yep.
And I appreciate that like no tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the change, right? I mean, yes, we're going to this world where it's online and virtual and whatnot, but I feel like the deeper we get into it, the more people crave connection. And I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. Moving forward, as this kind of new world comes, the greatest currency moving forward is not going to be big data. It's not going to be technology. It's going to be the ability to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are really going to want that because they're stuck on Zoom. They're stuck in their house. And this was going to happen even without the pandemic. You realize this. This is the direction we were going and potentially still are going.
But the pandemic made it go up on steroids.
It accelerated it.
People
much
were hugging
quicker.
people they didn't even like.
I know. Listen, I tell the people I coach on my courses all the time, what is the worst type of torture in a prison?
No human connection.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah, no human connection.
And it's very counterintuitive. You think it's waterboarding or all these types of torture. Solitary confinement is the worst type of torture. And we were in some solitary confinement
They
for a
said
while.
49% of the population had, in the last year and a half since COVID, had some sort of depression or feeling of being out of touch due to COVID.
Yeah. So perspective is a beautiful thing, and the ability to pull out a gift or a lesson out of any situation. If the last year hasn't done it, then it never will. I write letters to the girls all the time, little sticky notes. I got this from my warrior group. And today my letter was their last day of school. And each one of those letters, there was a version of, you have gone through so much this year, through homeschooling, through Kumon, because we did the Kumon online, through part-time school, through full-time school, at a new school, and they have thrived. And we talked about how resilient they are and how you're defined by the difficult things you get through in life, how it's the pain that truly helps you grow. And we had this beautiful conversation. They were proud of themselves. And they said, it's a tough year. But, you know, I said, why do we make it through? And they said, because we're Tinas. I said, that's actually true. So that's your takeaway for today. 116 in the books. Have a great day. Take care.
I gotta go.